Hey YouTube, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for spending some time with me. Thanks for taking time out of your day to kind of go on this journey with me. My previous video, I talked about how I'm on the road to Celebration, and it's my first Star Wars celebration, first Star Wars convention, really first convention, really, and just hoping that you'll share some of those moments with me. Today, I want to talk to you about pin trading. All right, so pin trading, let's talk about it. Celebration released some exclusive Phantom Menace pins, right? And then there was the whole thing with the site going down and whatnot. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but also let's talk about pin trading. I can't not think about pin trading without talking about Disney. In my mind, I feel like Disney and pin trading kind of go hand to hand. And for as much as I'm a Star Wars fan, I am also a Disney fan. And when I say that, I don't mean that I'm a fan of the films or the company or the organization. I'm more of a fan of the parks. So I'm a fan of Disney World, Disneyland. I used to live in California. I worked at Disneyland for a year. I actually have a pin from working at Disneyland. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And so you see a lot of the pin trading that goes on at Disneyland. And when you read the pin trading rules for Celebration, those rules look exactly like the Disney rules. The rules about trading with staff members, the rules about trading with each other. I mean, those are pretty much copied from Disney's pin trading rules also. And so when thinking about pin trading and thinking about Celebration, it kind of got me thinking about, this is how I got here. This is how I got to Celebration. So let's back up a little bit. So a year ago, when I turned 50, or even the year before that, when I was still 49, my wife asked me, well, how do you want to celebrate turning 50? And I said, let's go to Disney World. And we noticed that the Star Wars marathons, the Star Wars runs, were happening at the same time. Now, my wife and I had never done any of these kind of like experiences in the parks. We've always just paid tickets and gone to the parks. And so we said that'd be a cool thing. Like, let's run the Star Wars 5K and also go to Disney World. And so if you don't know, both parks, Disneyland and Disney World, both offer marathons all year long, and they're all themed. So they have like, Disney character theme, and they have princess theme, and they have a heroes theme. They also have a Star Wars theme. They have a Star Wars theme run every single year, and it's a great opportunity to meet up with other fans of Star Wars, fans of running, and get some merchandise and some swag and some pictures out of it. So you pay your registration fee. Your registration fee gets you, in the run, gets you a shirt, gets you your medal, right? Because everybody's a winner, and then gives you access to some exclusive swag. So my wife and I both trained for several months so that we could run a 5K, and they also do half marathons and full marathons, and each one of those different runs gives you a different shirt and a different medal. And there's a lot of people that run multiples, so they get all the shirts and all the medals, and every year the medals and shirts are different. So it's another thing to collect. And then you collect the ones in Florida, which are all dark side, and you can collect all the ones in California, which are all light side. And really the entire event goes over a couple of days, even though your run is only a single day, because you have to go to the event center to register to say that you're there. And then you get a lot of your swag then, and there's a big Star Wars merch hall that you can go through and buy a lot of stuff. There's also a runner's auditorium hall where you can buy a lot of stuff and meet different retailers. And then it's, back to your hotel, and then the next day the bus comes, picks you up. It's really early in the morning. Nobody else in your hotel room is awake. And then you go down to where you're gonna start the run, and it's the wee hours of the morning. And I think even then, you wait around for almost 2 hours until the run starts. And then the run starts, and it's over in like 45 minutes for you, because that's about how long it takes to run a 5K. And then it's back on the bus and back to your hotel room. And then basically you're walking around the park then that day, looking at other people who have either the medal or the t-shirt, and then you're like, hey, we ran together in Star Wars, woo! And they had opportunities during the run, like you could stop running and get in line to get your picture taken with a Star Wars person. And my wife and I didn't stop to do that. We did a photo shoot at the beginning, and we even dressed up. Like we said, hey, let's get dressed up. Let's in runner's wear. So I was Boba Fett, and my wife was. Actually, you know what? I'll put up a picture of us together, and you see if you can see who she is. You tell me from Star Wars, who do you think my wife is? Nobody came up to her the whole race and said, oh, you're so-and-so. Like, nobody said that, so I didn't know if anybody knew who she was. I'll tell you at the end if you're right. Tell me in the comment section below who you thought she was, or if you thought you were right. Then there was also opportunities to get your photos taken while you're running, and then after the run, they say, oh, you can buy your pictures, and of course I bought the pictures because, I wanted some sort of memento from the occasion. And yeah, you get a medal at the end, and it was a lot of fun, and I would totally go back and do it. Like I did the 5K, I think I would totally go back and maybe do the 5K and the 10K again, just because yeah, it's just a nice way to connect with some other Star Wars people, but then also it was fun and healthy and Disney. So yeah, going back to pin trading. So Disney does pin trading, and I've always had a lanyard walking around the parks and always had the Disney pins and traded with people. I don't seek them out. If people come up to me and ask me, then I'm happy to oblige. I'll mostly trade with cast members because they're the easiest. And so when I saw the Phantom Menace pins that Celebration was going to put out, immediately in my head I thought, these are ugly. Like I don't know, I didn't like them. Maybe I'm just not in love with those characters. I think the ones that the dealers are going to have, I think those appeal to me a little bit more. I'm kind of disappointed that you can only trade Celebration pins for Celebration pins, or at least only with the cast members. So I'm hoping to get around that with some of the fans. We'll see. If you have a Watto and you want to get rid of him, I'll take your Watto. But Disney pins, especially Disney Star Wars pins, are really easy to get off eBay. If you search Star Wars Disney pins on eBay, there's people out there that sell tons of them, and some of them come in like these giant bag lots, and so that's what I did. I'm going to show you what I just got. This came to me in the mail only a couple of days ago. A bunch of cool pins. So there's like the symbols of the different legions and rebellions. There's character pins. There's cartoon character pins. There's Disney characters dressed as Star Wars characters. I won't bring those because this isn't really a Disney event. But yeah, you can get all kinds of pins from eBay, and a lot of them end up being really cheap. They only end up being about $1 a piece or so. If you order them from like Shanghai or China, they're gonna take about a month to ship. But it's a really inexpensive way to do pin trading. Instead of getting them at Disneyland or getting them at Celebration, you get them off eBay, and then you have a starter set to begin trading from. Because really, if you're gonna trade Celebration pins, you have to think about the fact that you have to have pins to trade. So you can't just order the Phantom Menace set, you would have to order 2 Phantom Menace sets so that you had a whole set to trade away. And the reality was I had 2 sets in my shopping cart, and of course the site crashed and we never got it. I never got through, and really the site crashing saved me $100 because now in retrospect I'm like, yeah, do I really want to do Celebration pins? Like, is this the experience that I want? I think there's other stuff that's going to be at Celebration that I'm going to be more willing to spend my money on. Like, I'm a huge Boba Fett fan. Like, I've got tons of Boba Fett stuff. I'm a huge like dewback Stormtrooper fan, so I collect anything with a dewback and a Stormtrooper on it. So I think that's kind of where I'll focus if I'm going to spend my money. But if you see me walking around with my backpack, and I'll show you what my backpack looks like in another video, there'll be some pins on it as well. And if you see me walking around with my son and you want to trade pins, my son and I are more than willing to trade pins. We're totally all about that. We'll both have some of these pins on our lanyards, and hopefully we'll be able to use that to get some Celebration pins. Probably not, but we'll see if anybody's willing to get rid of a Watto or a Jar Jar Binks. All right, I talked a lot about running, talked a lot about Disney and my 5K experience, talked a little bit about pins, but hey, So what was your experience? Did you order your pins? Are you happy with the first set? Did you order 2 sets? Did you think about having a set to trade? Are you excited about pin trading? Tell me down in the comment section below. May the force be with you guys. I'll see you next time.